Hey, it's Soul, and I'm going to show you how to complete Dragon Isles Pathfinder Day 1 of the 10.2 patch. But before I go any further, I want to point out that this might not work. The information is up to date as of this most current PTR, which is now a release candidate, but at any time, the WoW team can alter and fix things to make this thing no longer work right. That said, if you're interested, this method will at least get you a really good head start towards unlocking the rewards of the Dream Wardens, including Dragon Isles Pathfinder. So if you don't mind, please like the video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, and let's start by showing you the Dragon Isles Pathfinder achievement. It's a big old meta, and you can complete all but one of the steps before the patch. I'll read down the meta with some brief descriptions. Complete all 4 leveling zone campaigns from the 10.0, complete the zone campaign from 10.1, and fully explore the Dragon Isle zones, including Zeralek Cavern. Exploring the Emerald Dream is something you can immediately do at the start of the patch. In fact, I recommend it so you can unlock more dragon riding abilities. Which leaves us to this last one, Fresh Scales 15, which asks you to reach renown level 15 with each of the major factions, including the Dream Wardens, which you can't level yet. I'm not going to get too much into the other reputations. There are plenty of guides to help you zip your way to renown level 15 with those, but you want to have gotten this far by the time 10.2 goes live so you won't end up backtracking. Okay, so let's talk about how this rep trick is going to work. It's pretty simple. It can be done in a day, it just needs a little bit of elbow grease and some luck. You're going to need 2 max level characters, preferably ones that you can quickly clear outdoor content with, but you don't need to worry about soloing elites or anything crazy like that. The trick is best optimized during the first week of the patch, which conveniently happens during a Darkmoon Fair week, although it's not super required. I should point out again that the WoW team can nerf this and other benefits at any time. The overall idea is to wrap up with one character to a point where they get to renown level 10. That's going to unlock the essence of a worthy ally buff that lets your other characters get a 100% reputation increase until renown level 10. Then you switch to your second character, who now has the buff, and use the bonus to propel their renown even higher, hopefully to a renown level of 15. So here's what you do, and I also want to point out that not all activities may be available at launch. What I'm demonstrating here might only be available on the PTR here for testing. First, there's an intro into the Emerald Dream, basically the first chapter. You may want to have the Darkmoon Fair buff up, and then complete the chapter well before the rep buff expires. The reputation that you get comes immediately upon turning in this quest, there's no token. Before you turn in the quest though, real quick, check this NPC here in case they happen to be offering the Worthy Ally quest, which asks you to earn 1500 rep with the Dream Wardens. You should be familiar with stuff like that. If you can pick up this quest, great. Do pick it up, turn in the campaign quest, and then you can instantly get the rep needed for this other weekly quest. Next, you want to complete these 2 weekly turn-ins here that ask for a random assortment of crafting materials. You'll get one quest after another, each awards a bit of rep instantly, so make sure that the Darkmoon Fair buff is still available. After this though, you don't need to get that Darkmoon Fair buff again, at least not right now. You do want to try avoiding completing world quests or defeating rares. It shouldn't be needed, you're just kind of wasting your time. The next thing you want to do is complete a Super Bloom event. According to the sort of schedule that we got, this event should be available on patch day. Before it completes, there's a quest that you want to pick up called Super Bloom. It's right next to the tree that you've been escorting, and it will definitely appear right before the event ends. Fulfill the requirement, which is to contribute to the bloom, and that's, pretty much clicking on things, defeating mobs nearby, and so on and so forth. The quest will reward a 1000 rep token. Now don't use these or any other Dream Wardens tokens that you get, we're trying to save these up. Now you want to complete all the side quests and as much of the campaign as you can. Now this step is going to take a few hours, and I'm going to mark locations as to where side quests can be started. If you don't see them, there may be some hidden requirement that unfortunately testing doesn't uncover. That or Blizzard decided, hey, let's not give you these quests yet, we'll give them to you later. At any rate, at the end of each side quest and campaign chapter are rounds of rep tokens for later use. Hold on to these. By the end, you should have a nice pile of tokens, including some beefy 2500s from the campaign. Now is the weird part. You might have to wait around a bit for a special Dream Surge event. That's the stuff from 10.1.7. One of the Dream Surge buffs you get is called Dream Surge Learnings, which increases your rep gains by 50%. That means those big 2500 tokens are going to give you a bonus 1250 rep, meaning these tokens are going to feel super good to use. The wait for this buff is especially going to suck, especially the first time, because this character doesn't have much to do outside of just waiting for the Dream Surge buff, and you don't want to use your second character yet. The other thing is that you need to vote for either the Dream Surge Learnings or the Dream Surge Overgrowth, which gives a bunch of buffs including Dream Surge Learnings. So you're going to be hovering over this NPC, voting and praying that others are doing the same thing. If it looks like Dream Surge Learnings are coming your way, then great. You want to get out, go get the Darkmoon Fair buff, return to the Dream Surge zone, and then when the buff is active, you'll want to slam all of your rep tokens. By using them all, you should have more than enough reputation to reach renown 10 and then some. If not, head back to the zone and knock out any world quest to finish up. The character that I used in this exercise happened to complete all the world quests available for 50 rep a pop, and this was the result without the Darkmoon Fair buff. So unless certain quests or features are being held back, you should be able to hit renown 10 as long as you maximize the Dream Surge buff and maybe the Darkmoon Fair buff. Being a human, of course, will definitely help too. With renown 10 under your belt, all you need to do now is basically repeat what you did on your second character, with only a few small differences. You do want to complete the early questing and resource turn-ins with the Darkmoon Fair buff active if you can. Then collect every rep token that you can from the Super Bloom event, side quests, and the campaign. If you want to, you can knock out world quests right away as you see them. You just want to consider maintaining the Darkmoon Fair buff if you are really trying to max things out. Once you have all the rep tokens from the side quests and the campaign, use them when the Dream Surge Learning buff and Darkmoon Fair buff is active. Make sure you're in the correct zone, of course, and then fire away. Waiting for the learning buff isn't as bad this time around. In case it's not up, you can return to the Emerald Dream to do whatever you want, because it's not like the buff will affect your rep gains in a different zone anyway. The following footage here is me testing out the rep tokens on the PTR. This is a non-human character who only completed a few world quests by accident, and the Darkmoon Fair buff was not available for this test. Separated are the rep tokens from the side quests here. I do have one Dream Surge token for the 1000, and I have 3 of the campaign tokens because one of them is immediately used. With the Worthy Ally buff, my renown is a little bit past 4 before doing this test, and after completing these activities, here's how it went. So as you can see, things went very well. One thing that I've noticed is that I could have finagled with which token I used until I was just short of getting to renown 10, and then used the big token for a whopping 6,250 rep. From the looks of it, if I use it at renown 9, it's going to provide the full bonus reputation even though it puts me past renown 10. Now that ought to be a tremendous boost. I overshot my goal of hitting renown level 15, but I'm also closer to 20, so go us. Even if you were trying to be efficient and try to do as little work as possible, I'm still going to stick to suggesting that you get every token that you can without knowing if values will change, what activities are going to be available, or if certain buffs are just not going to work. And one more reminder, this trick may get nerfed at any time. If left intact though, I suggest you get to completing the other requirements for Pathfinder. That's the guide, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe for more coverage. Catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.